Hello, welcome back to the Spider Talk news show. How are we all doing? Oh, it's been a good week. It's been a good week for news as well. We got plenty to cover today. If you're watching this back after the stream is finished, we're going to be talking about Sony wants to bring back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. That's a big news topic for today. So TASM 3 potentially could be happening. Spider-Man Noir has been renamed to... Noir has been renamed to Spider-Man Noir. Tom Holland, Spider-Man 4 news. We got some villains that potentially might be showing up. Far From Home, box office numbers we'll be talking about. And also major plot details for Venom 3. So that's going to be awesome. Cannot wait to get into that. I'm just going to share on the stream, obviously, as I always do. Before we get into this today, hope everyone is having a good day. It's been a good week so far. Spidey fan, hey, how are we doing? Hopefully we're all good. We're just waiting for some people to get in here first, and then we're going to get straight into the news. We've got some big news today. Victor, hello, Cameron. How are we all doing today? Hopefully we're all good. I'm just sharing on the stream, as I usually do, on the LewisFilms channel. If you guys could share the stream as well, that'd be awesome. Obviously, hitting a like on the video, commenting, giving me your thoughts in the live chat, sharing the stream around, that'd be absolutely awesome. Obviously, people on LewisFilms don't get the notification, so I'm going to go ahead and... How are you, Lewis? I'm good, thank you. How are you? How are you? Right, but anyway, yes, so, as I share the stream around, like I mentioned, we are going to be talking about... Sony bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. So it seems like we get something like this every few weeks or so. But it's really, really prevalent at the moment. And something came out from Alex Perez, who you guys might know in the community. He's an insider. Who he's a big insider, right? He's gotten a lot of things right before. He was right about Madam Web. He predicted the castings. Alex Perez predicted the plot. He got most of it right before the script was obviously altered, changed, and a lot of things were cut out. So Alex Perez has got a huge reputation in the community, especially from like the last year or so. So Alex Perez, yeah, he's got a huge reputation. So that's the first thing we should note, right? This is coming in from Alex Perez. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. This is not coming in from Alex Perez. This is coming from Daniel RPK. Still, he's been very reliable. Hey, Ravenous Puncher, how are we doing? So this comes in from Daniel RPK. No. Okay, Alex Perez has leaked something. Well, has revealed something, but that comes later. No, sorry. This isn't from Alex Perez. This is from Daniel RPK. Get your facts right, Lewis. This is from Daniel RPK. So, obviously, TASM 3 is looking quite likely, right? And this is what he's had to say, and I'm going to pull it up for you guys now. This is coming in from Daniel RPK, and this is what he has to say. Sony wants to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and give them key roles in the Sony cinematic universe. He then also goes on to say this will be separate from the MCU multiverse saga. So what this currently means is this gives us hope for TASM 3. And the reason it gives us hope for TASM 3 is because it shows us that there is still an interest in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. And I think this has been more shown through the box office numbers that we've got from the re-releases. But not just that, we've also got to think about the fact that if they want to bring them back, they can do so. They can do so, and they can do it through the Sonyverse. And it turns out they want them both in the Sonyverse. Sorry for a little off topic, but will you do a review of Ultimate Spider-Man 5? I will, yes, coming this Saturday. But yeah, so it's don't let Dane DeHaan enter TASM 3. Goblin has done that universe, and I refuse to call Dane DeHaan Green Goblin. He was just a goblin, says Ravenous Puncher. Yeah, he wasn't very green, was he? But either way, yeah, so Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are coming back to the Sonyverse. And, well, this is coming in from Daniel RPK. Obviously, a lot of people have been saying, though, recently, he hasn't been as reliable, but if you guys remember back to the No Way Home days, Daniel RPK was absolutely on it. He was absolutely on it. But either way, TASM 3 is looking more and more likely. Now, we've had those disputes. I want to put this out there as well. Get rid of Avi Arad, and they'll have a masterpiece, says Kyle. I do want to put it out there that there was rumors a while ago from I can't remember exactly who it was, but there were rumors a while ago that Andrew Garfield was signing a contract for to appear in the Sonyverse, which included The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Now, this got written off, and unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be true. So people started thinking, oh, he's not going to show up in the Sonyverse, and it kind of became more unlikely that he would show up. Spidey fan says, I would love a TASM 3. Yeah, so, but now these new rumors from Daniel RPK are sort of suggesting that the opposite is in flux, and the opposite is happening, that Andrew Garfield is going to be coming back. And not only is it going to be Andrew Garfield, it's going to be Tobey Maguire as well. So Sony wants Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back to the Sonyverse, and they want them both in the Sonyverse. What roles they would give them, I don't know. But obviously, as we always do, I'm going to give you a poll. We're going to start a poll. Do you guys want Andrew Garfield and Tobey back in the Sonyverse? It's a question because some people might not. Some people might think it might ruin the characters. And this is the thing that I have. I don't think we should have Andrew Garfield in the Sonyverse. And the reason, as much as I would love an Amazing Spider-Man 3, as much as I think there is hope for an Amazing Spider-Man 3, I don't think I would want Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire in the Sonyverse for one main reason. And that reason is I think it would just ruin the characters. I just think it would. I think it would absolutely decimate the characters. Because Andrew Garfield... The thing with Andrew Garfield is he's very much a story movie actor. And what I mean by that is he's the type of guy that will only do a movie because of for the story, right? If he doesn't think that the story is right for him to return as Spider-Man, he won't do it. And that's definitely not in the Sonyverse. I know I'm saying a little early in the stream, but MCU Spider-Man movies collections are low because these movies aren't standalone. Like Far From Home requires you to watch Endgame for emotional beats. No one is going to watch Endgame again and buy a ticket for Far From Home re-release, I think. That's a good point, Revenant's Puncher. I never thought about that. I know Jared Leto claimed he could take all 3 Spider-Man, says Romantic Avocado. I think putting Andrew in the Sonyverse makes sense. I think having them both is a little redundant. It does seem a little redundant, doesn't it? I mean, 70% of you guys said yes, you'd like Andrew and Tobey in the Sonyverse. But remember, this is both of them, which is really weird, right? It's both of them, which doesn't make any sense to me, really. Both of them are going to be in the Sonyverse? I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, I'm not too... I'm not too aware of why that's the case. But Sony's Sony, you know, Sony are mad, aren't they? I mean, you guys can agree. You let me know in the chat, but Sony are mad, right? They are crazy. And some of the ideas that they come out with. Yeah. Yeah, no, they're crazy. They are absolutely crazy. I'll have Andrew be in the EU. I guess you mean MCU. Sonyverse is done after Kraven. Venom 3 is the last movie. I beg everyone stop, including Uncle Avi. Please stop. Spidey fan says, I think having 2 Spider-Men in the same movie could ruin the story. Yeah, it very much could. It very much could. But, so, Sony are absolutely mental. I can't believe they're doing this. It's really dark on the screen. I just realized. There we go. That's better. There you go. There you go. I miswrote it, says Romantic Avocado. I assumed you did. But either way, yeah, so Sony are very much doing Sony things. I don't understand why. Yeah, I mean, it's just Sony being Sony, isn't it, at the end of the day? But that's about it, you know. They are going to bring them back. This doesn't include the MCU, so this is nothing to do with Secret Wars. This is nothing to do with Kang Dynasty. This is nothing to do with any of the MCU and the multiverse stuff. This is purely to do with them coming back to the Sonyverse, which means if they're coming back to the Sonyverse, it most likely means they're going to have some kind of solo movie in there as well. You'd assume so, right? So that's kind of where we're at with this news. I think having to... Oh, we read that one. I miswrote it. Yeah, we read that one. Hashtag I blame Avi Arad, says Kyle. They should have Andrew be in that universe, but have it connect to Tobey's universe. Lewis, I don't think the SSU is continuing after Kraven. I mean, what is the SSU without Venom? That is true, and we can talk more about this after the Venom plot leaks, but touching on it really quickly, I'm just going to end the poll there, and I'm actually going to create a new poll, so you guys let me know what you think of this. But so basically the Sonyverse, there's rumors that it's going to end fully, right? And they're going to basically do a new universe with Phil Lord and Chris Miller taking kind of the Kevin Feige role, and they're going to build the universe out from the TV shows, right? Now, would you potentially like a Sonyverse with built from the TV shows. So that includes the Noir TV show. That includes the Silk TV show that's been repurposed from Amazon now. It's been dropped from Amazon, but it's been repurposed. I have faith in them coming back. I highly doubt it'd either be a sign on the script, servicing characters. Did Lewis say anything about Jackpot and Black Cat? I haven't said anything about Jackpot and Black Cat, not yet. But when the next issue comes out of that, if it's out yet, then I'm gonna review that, I think. Hey Jesse, how's it going? I can't wait for the Nicolas Cage Noir series. So yeah, let's move on to that, because that's the next topic anyway. So basically, the Noir series, which was originally called Noir. Now I have something to say about this, and you guys can let me know in the chat as well what you think. But basically, the Noir series has been renamed to Spider-Man Noir. Now, this makes sense, right? But at first, it was just called Noir. Now, the reason it was called Noir, I assumed at least, was that it wasn't going to be fully Spider-Man. It was going to be based off Spider-Man, but the main character isn't going to be Peter Parker. We know that much. It's confirmed. Even though Spider-Man Noir is Peter Parker, this version of Spider-Man isn't going to be Peter Parker. So I imagined it was going to take inspiration from the Spider-Man Noir lore and series and books, but I imagined it was going to try and take a step away from Spider-Man. Like, it was going to be Spider-Man, but it was going to try and be a little grittier, a little different. And that's what I assumed Spider-Man Noir, or Noir, was going to be. But I reckon they've probably seen that calling it Noir probably won't get it as many views as possibly it could, right? I imagine they probably know that calling it Spider-Man and having that name, that title attached to it, is going to attract more viewers, and that means more revenue, and that means better things for Amazon, right? So I imagine that's why they've renamed it. But I think it's interesting that originally it was called Noir, but obviously starring Nicolas Cage as well, the voice actor who voiced, well, he's not a voice actor, he's just an actor, but he voiced him in the Spider-Verse films and will voice him in Beyond the Spider-Verse. So let's end that poll there, and I'm going to bring a new poll. I love these polls. The new poll is going to be, are you excited for Noir? Like, genuinely. And if you click no, in fact, if you click yes or no, just give me your reasoning in the chat. Give me your reasoning in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you said yes or no and why, right? I really want to know why. I wish Phil Lord and Chris Miller could do a cinematic universe of live-action movies as well. TV shows should not be mandatory for watching movies. Please, these days, people these days don't have that much time to invest. That's why MCU Disney Plus shows model failed. I can say it failed for me. It failed for me. Wholeheartedly failed for me. You know, we look at the amount of stuff that the MCU requires you to watch nowadays. You know, not just, it doesn't just include the MCU movies, it's the TV shows, and to a certain extent, it's the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the Amazing Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1 through to 3 with Tobey Maguire. It's all of these movies on a major scale, right? So yeah, I'm hoping for the Spider-Man Noir series will be as gritty as the earlier Noir comics. I love Noir movies, so Spider-Man Noir is a W for me, said Ravenous Puncher. I'm not excited because I don't always find a way to F up these characters just like Disney with Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, Sony could. I just love Nicolas Cage. He's funny to me, and it sounds really unique. It does sound unique. But that is what we've got on the Noir series at this moment in time. So yeah. But let's move on then, shall we, to the Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 villains. Will Spider-Man Noir have a man-eating vulture? I mean, maybe. That was funny from the Shattered Mentions, wasn't it? Will Tom Holland have Spider-Man... Okay, so Spider-Man 4 villains. This comes in from Alex Perez. Right, so if you're new here, if you just joined, we did talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 3. We talked about Tobey Maguire at the start of the stream. We're now on to the third topic, which is Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 villains. This is interesting. You guys want to hear this as well. Praying for Black Cat, says Jesse. I'm excited because Lord and Miller are involved in Nick Cage, and Nick Cage is back. Also, I think Spider-Man Noir show has a lot of story potential, especially compared to Sony's villain movies. I absolutely agree with you, 100% wholeheartedly. So this is interesting. This is coming in from Alex Perez on MCU Spider-Man 4, or just MCU Spider-Man in general. And he says, Tom Holland may face Doc Ock and the Green Goblin again in the MCU, and it'll probably be new actors who play them. So as I mentioned at the start of the stream, Alex Perez has a very, very, very good reputation And obviously he got the Madam Web plot leak right. His reputation is kind of on a high. Like, if you have the insiders and the leakers at the moment, you put them on a tier list, Alex Perez is firmly at the top, right? At least in my opinion. Okay? In my opinion, Alex Perez, right at the top. And he's got this right. He's spoken about things about Andrew Garfield as well, about The Amazing Spider-Man 3 before. He's said things that Sony are doing. He's said things about Madam Web. He told us that Andrew Garfield apparently was meant to be in the Sonyverse before they cut it from Madam Web, which from what the movie turned out to be like, it looked like that was the case as well, because there were certain parts of the Peter Parker story which were kind of missing and out of place, and a lot of people said, hey, the Parkers don't really aren't relevant in this movie. But it turns out they were meant to have a bigger role, and that was meant to connect to Andrew Garfield at one point. Alex Perez got that right. He's got a bunch of things right, okay? So, yeah, Alex Perez, very reliable, and he has been talking about these villains. Apparently, we're going to see Green Goblin and Doc Ock again. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this, and once again, I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to ask you guys, would you guys like to see Green Goblin and Doc Ock again in the MCU? Obviously, different actors, right? There are different actors, different characters as well. So, this is a big question. I don't know about Noir, says Netta, I'm 50-50, we ain't getting Peter Parker, looks like an original character. Yeah. Ultimate Green Goblin and Oliver Octavius, Doc Ock for MCU, please, says Revenant Punch. Ultimate Goblin would be cool. I hope we get the Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie. Yeah, I mean, I hope we get it as well. Just, I don't really want it in the Sonyverse, which we spoke about earlier. I just want Ultimate Goblin, says Revenant's Puncher. Norman could be of his Dark Reign, Iron Patriot. And you know what? That's a really good idea. If they do Iron Patriot, I think that's a banging idea. Do you think that Marvel should make comics about the Ultimate Spider-Woman of Earth 1610? If she's still alive, I would honestly love to see it. She could be as popular as Spider-Gwen. I agree. I think there needs to be a modern adaptation of Spider-Woman in comics. I think there needs to be a modern Spider-Woman comic, because there isn't a modern one that's any good. And I think it needs to be hip, and I think it needs to be relevant. I think it needs to be modern. Have Olivia Octavius from Into the Spider-Verse come to the MCU, says Romantic Avocado, with the mind-blowing emojis. Both Ock and Green Goblin for Spider-Man 6 or 7, says Revenant's Puncher. 6 or 7? That's hella down the line. Norman is Iron Patriot and Harry as the Ultimate Hobgoblin. What say? Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. So, yeah, so 80% of you said yes, which is really surprising because I don't think I would, right? Now, originally, I said I liked the idea of Norman Osborn coming in as someone that Peter has to hunt down, and ultimately Peter's obsession with Norman drives him to become the Green Goblin. I think that's a really, really good story for Spider-Man 4. Or Spider-Man 5 or 6 or whatever. But I don't think I'd actually like Norman to come back. I want to see new villains. I want to see Scorpion. I want to see Big Wheel. I don't want to see Big Wheel. I do want to see Big Wheel. That would be cool. I want to see Black Cat. I want to see Black Cat. I want to see Spider-Man fight off against Kingpin. I want to see all these things. And if, let's just ponder for a second, Spider-Man 4 and The Amazing Spider-Man 3 do happen. Well, let's say these films do happen. We could get them in there. We could get different villains in them, so maybe it won't matter as much. But if TASM 3 happens and there's a whole variety of villains to explore for that film. But yeah, no, Spider-Man 4, I don't want Norman. Ness says you read Jackpot on Black Cat 3. It was so bad. It's out. I didn't know it was out. I haven't read it. Oh god, I'm gonna have to make a video on it, aren't I? Jesus. I want Molten Man and Vulture to be in MCU Spider-Man 4, says Romantic Avocado. Hobgoblin is another one I'd really like to see. If you want to do Green Goblin again, just do Hobgoblin, right? So what you do is, you have Roderick Kingsley or Ned Leeds. Well, not Ned Leeds, because Ned Leeds is already a character. Or maybe you could use Ned Leeds. I don't know. It depends what you do. You could have Hobgoblin be someone who is basically obsessed with the idea of Green Goblin. So you kind of spin how it was in the comics. So instead of him finding his lair and kind of becoming infatuated, he's just obsessed with him from the beginning. Like, he's just obsessive over the Green Goblin. And then he becomes the Hobgoblin or something. I don't know. There's plenty of ways that you can spin it, right? There's plenty of ways. And we've had Green Goblin in the MCU, so it could be also still it could still be a lead on from Willem Dafoe's Goblin. Imagine that. Willem Dafoe still affecting things like down the line. The best thing having Roderick Kingsley is Green Goblin. I read that one. Molten Man, yeah. Maybe having Iceman, Firestarter, be Peter's new friends in college, or Kitty Pryde. This way they can introduce the X-Men. That'd be a cool reference to Spider-Man and his amazing friends. They can have Norman and Ock in background like Insomniac games. I see this as an absolute win. And Harry is an older guy married to Liz who didn't blip. Cole Dublin, what's the definitely be in the MCU? I'm not too sure what that means, Zach. But sure. Is it just me, or does Batman have more popular stories in comics than Spider-Man? There aren't that many recognizable comics of Spider-Man other than Ultimate Spider-Man, at least in my opinion. At the moment, yeah. I mean, Batman, just the whole of DC has been crushing Marvel for years. I think the only period, really, where the only... sorry, I'm late, Lewis. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I think the only decade where Marvel kind of crushed DC was the 70s, possibly. I want to say whenever the X-Men came about and Spider-Man was kind of in his prime with from Stan Lee to Conway, that was kind of when I think Marvel were kind of doing bits. But even so, DC's had some great stories throughout that time as well. So, you know, it's a hard one. I think DC's always crushed Marvel in comics. You know, all the way up until the 60s, I think they did. Certainly in modern times, they are as well. The only thing DC isn't crushing Marvel on is the movies. But with the TV shows, the animated TV shows, they've crushed them. The only good ones that we've got is Spider-Man and X-Men, really. In comparison to what we've got from DC with Batman. Even the animated movies, it's been DC up until recently with Spider-Verse. So it's like DC have pretty much crushed Marvel on all fronts other than movies. So when James Gunn's cinematic universe comes out, and if it's any good, which I think it will be, I think Marvel are in a bit of trouble. So yeah, I think they are. Sony needs to make a live-action Spider-Man series at this point. Oh my god, yes, 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 yes. I've been saying this. Spider-Man works in TV. In fact, actually, I've got a video coming up at some point why Spider-Man works in TV. Or did I already make a video like that? I don't know. But either way, Spider-Man works better in TV. The reason is because he has so many characters that's so integral to most stories that he has. So if you want to do the Lizard, you've got to introduce Martha Connors and Billy, and you've got to do Dr. Connors, and then you've got to do ESU. But if you do ESU, you've got to do the other students that come with it, and that might be Gwen, that might be Eddie Brock, like we saw in Spectacular Spider-Man. But then you've got to do the Daily Bugle. You've got to have Peter do his job, and the money, and Aunt May, and that means you've got to do Aunt May and the bills, and that means you've got to do Uncle Ben, and why they're failing to money, and you got so much stuff to do, right? And then you got to introduce Norman Osborn as a character of the future, because you got to build him up, and then you got to do the symbiote, and then Doc Ock is in there somewhere, he's somewhere, and then Big Wheel shows up, I don't know, Morbius, Morbin time, you know what I'm saying? So you've got so much to do. It works as best. Imagine this, right? Make a good point. Hire actors at 16 years, by the time they grow, with the character, maybe run it for 8-10 years. Perfect, right? Hire actors at 16 years old. Run it for 5 seasons. Release a season every 2 years so you can spend some good quality time on it, right? Release a season every 2 years. 5 seasons. The first season is high school. The second season is the end of high school. The third season is the first year of college. The second season is towards the end of college. And then the last season is adulthood, adult life, marrying Mary Jane at the end. There you go. That's all you do. That's all you need to do, right? And maybe Gwen dies in like the second or third season. Right? That's how you do it. That's how you do it, right? Not like the CW. So we don't do one every year. You do one every 2 years. So it's like high quality. But you got me on a whole rant there, right? You got me on a whole rant. Okay? You got me on a whole rant there. Can Insomniac... Oh, well, hold on. I haven't read this one by Comic Central. I'm not too concerned about the villains, but I'm concerned about the title for Spider-Man 4. I really hope they drop the home titles. I think they will. Can Insomniac make Spider-Verse game in the future? I think they will. Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire confirmed. Well, I mean, it's looking more likely. Sony look like they want to bring, as we mentioned at the start of the stream. If you are new here, by the way, because I've seen we've got a few new viewers in as well. We talked about the TASM 3 stuff and the Spider-Man 4 stuff at the start of the stream, but now we're on the topic of Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 villains. So that's just where we're at right now. Lewis, at the end of the day, Doc Ock and Norman are the Mount Rushmore of Spider-Man villains. Oh my god, wait. You just give me an idea. You just give me an idea. Right. Okay. So the Mount Rushmore of Spider-Man villains. Right. This is a really good idea. Okay. So we can all agree that Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and Venom are on the Mount Rushmore. Right. But who does that 4th spot go to? I'm gonna do a poll. And actually, give me your reasonings in the chat. Who is the 4th spot on Spider-Man Mount Rushmore, right? Is it Craven? I'm just listing, like, popular names here. Is it Craven? Who else is popular? Vulture. We'll say Kingpin. You got to throw Kingpin in there, haven't you? And probably Electro, maybe? Or is it Lizard? It's probably more Lizard, right? Lizard. Yeah, we'll say that. Who is on the Mount Rushmore? We all know it's Venom, Goblin, and Doc Ock. But who's the fourth? Who's the fourth? Craven because of Last Hunt. That's a very good shout, actually. Mephisto. No, definitely not. Or you could throw Maul in on there. Oh, he hasn't been around for long enough, has he really? Because he's like the big... When you do Spider-Verse stuff, Morlin's your guy. Like, you do more grounded stuff, and it's like Goblin and Doc Ock. You do kind of alien stuff, and it's Venom. You do multiverse, it's Morlin. Maybe that's a... Avi Arad's on there. The Spider-Man writers. The Spot. The Spot. I don't think the Spot's there. There won't be a Tasman 3, but TOBEY Spider-Man 4 has been confirmed it will happen. Craven made very entertaining hunting. So everyone, so majority says Craven. So I think Craven's probably the fourth spot on there. Shocker cause represents the D tiers. Yeah, Shocker, I will hunt you to the ends of the earth. Mysterio is a good shout. Yep. It never happened, but I'd rather have Spidey get an MCU TV show like Daredevil. Yeah, I would as well. Right, let's move on to the Far From Home low box office. Right. So Spider-Man Far From Home has made the lowest amount of money. Shock. Of the re-releases, right? But should we worry about this? Does this mean the fans hate MCU Spider-Man? No! Sorry, if you're wearing headphones, I'm so sorry. No, of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't, right? Anyone who thinks this, right? I understand your thinking. But this doesn't make any sense. You got to realize one of two things is happening, right? These movies have been re-released since May, the start of May, April, right? They've been re-released. Who has the money in this climate society, in a falling society? We're almost in a recession, by the way. Who has the money to go and see every Spider-Man film? Of course, they're all going to get less and less and less and less as they go on. If you put them in reverse order, I guarantee they... I'm not going to claim that, actually. But you get my point. It'd probably be a lot closer. But you get my point there, right? Number one. Number two. Tom Holland's the current Spider-Man, right? He's the current Spider-Man. I'm so sorry, Neto. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hi, Comic Stark. How are we doing? So, yeah. So number two, right? Number two. He's the current Spider-Man. He's the current Spider-Man, right? He's the current Spider-Man. Who's going to see Tom Holland? He's the current Spider-Man. Plus, Ravenous Puncher made a very good point as well. He says it as well again here. Because Far From Home requires you to watch Endgame and people aren't going to watch previous MCU movies. Exactly. Far From Home requires you to watch Endgame. Homecoming requires you to watch Civil War. No Way Home requires you to watch all of them. And Far From Home. So, you know, it is less likely that people are going to go and watch these. Right? And also, by the way, we also have to understand that Tom Holland is the most beloved Spider-Man from general audiences. General audiences, we are all in the community. Me, you, everyone watching this, everyone who's voting on the polls, everyone. We're all in the community. We love Spider-Man, right? We see it from a fan perspective. Maybe he's the most disliked in the fandom. But as a general populace, people love him. People love him more than Toby. People love him more than Andrew. It's just a thing, right? People love Tom Holland. The metrics show it. And the finances show it for when the movies came out. So, I don't think it's fair to criticize the movies based on the box office numbers. I don't think it is. I really don't. And I will die on this hill, by the way. If anyone wants to debate me, I will die on this hill, right? And no, I'm not a Tom Holland stan. I love Tom Holland Spider-Man, but I arguably the other two more. I simp over them more. So I ain't catching no strays. So, yeah. Which would you rather choose? TASM 3? Oh, the message was redacted. I was just reading it. Sorry, Victor. Is it true that Norman Osborn would be the main villain in TASM 3? Well, it was going to be a floating head at one point. So, Tom is him for real. I blame Gen Z. Generation made super meta and it's not funny at all, says Eddie. Would you rewatch the Raimi trilogy if it returns to the UK theatres, Lewis? I would, and I am. I've got my tickets booked. I've got my tickets booked for Spider-Man 1 and 2. I haven't got my Spider-Man... I haven't got my tickets booked for Spider-Man 3 yet. I don't know if it's got tickets yet, but I've got my tickets booked for Spider-Man 1 and 2, which is good. I think Spider-Man 4 will be Tom Holland's real GA love. His previous movies had so much MCU immersion that it's difficult to say. And this is one thing I want to say, right? Everyone clowning on Tom Holland, saying he's got movies to go yet. People don't know where he's going to end up. I think people are going to love Tom Holland's Spider-Man by the end of 4, right? Or, no, one or two things is going to happen. I think, one, everyone's going to love him and realize that this movie was great. I reckon Spider-Man 4 is going to be amazing, by the way. Or number two, I think people are going to nitpick the hell out of it and find reasons to hate it because the movie's going to be good and it's going to go against the whole agenda of Tom Holland being Iron Boy Jr. and all this kind of thing from the previous trilogy. That's the two ways I see it going. But I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 is going to be really good. I really, really do. I'm going to head out. Well, see you later, Romantic Avocado. It's good to see you once again. Can you make a video about Marvel should do with Ben Reilly? Honestly, just making a member of the X-Men or Guardians of the Galaxy to separate him from Peter and give him... I think they've butchered Ben Reilly. I almost made a video on Ben Reilly, but I kind of scrapped it because I didn't really have much of a narrative. All I was saying, it was after one of the recent issues with Chasm. I basically just said the whole time, like, nah, I just don't like Ben Reilly. He's just not a good character. And that was all I was saying the whole time. So yeah. And then ship Ben with Kitty Pryde. Lewis, whom do you think should replace Rhino in the MCU? Craven movie as Rhino. I don't know. I don't know if Rhino's going to be in the MCU. Tommy Boy's Spider-Man is very fun to watch. He brought a breath of fresh air on the character. However, my favorite version of Peter's Spider-Man is TOBEY. I agree. Would every Spider-Man film return to cinemas like every country, like in Romania, Australia? I think it's most of Europe at the moment. I'm not sure if it's Eastern Europe, like Romania. I know France, Germany are kind of... I think they're re-releasing them. I'm not sure if Romania are or anywhere like that. I'm not sure if Australia has either. Do you wonder why there is green logo on Venom 3? I'm not too sure. Not a huge fan of what they already done with Tom Spider-Man, but I'm excited for what's coming. Exactly, yeah, I think we should all be open-minded, right? For those people who don't like Tom Spider-Man, I think we should be open-minded. I like all three of them. I think all three of them represent a different thing for Spider-Man. But yeah, yeah. Hey, sorry I'm late. Glad to be here on my birthday. Happy birthday to Mesozoic Mind in the chat. Everyone, happy birthday, Mesozoic Mind in the chat. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, Cosmic Bazooka, how are we doing? Oh, man made it to the stream. I always find it funny. Cosmic Bazooka every single week. It's really funny. He just about comes in at the end of the stream, or he misses it and then he comments on like a community post like, "Oh no, I missed the stream. Damn it!" And I always find it really funny. I'm like, "Oh, well, you made it, man. You made it." They should never put Harry and Rhino in TASM 2. These two destroy the movie. I think they should have. Yeah, I think they should have. They should have held out a little bit. The re-releases are only in the US because the country has AMC. Well, they're actually coming to Odeon in the UK. So I don't know if that constitutes for other countries in Europe. Lewis, Digger is perfect for college trilogy. He's gamma-powered, 80-ton strength, range, and is involved with mobsters and gangsters for MCU's college trilogy. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, I'm having a good day. Good, Meso Mind. Love that. I hate that people say crap on Miles for being... Yeah, I mean, I hear this all the time, right? I hate it as well. I hate this thing as well, where people are like, oh, and this is the thing about legacy characters. I think there's certain times people that hate legacy characters, and I've never got it because I think superheroes are meant to be legacy characters. Like people are like, oh, Miles Morales he's the Black Peter Parker. He's his own character, man. Like, I don't know, even if he shared similar traits with Peter Parker in the original comics, which, by the way, he has some very different stories if you actually go back and read them. The Spider-Verse movies and the games have completely defined Miles as his own character. So, I gotta disagree with that. But, yeah, it's... I think there's a certain type of fan that doesn't like legacy characters altogether. I think that's like a whole thing, so... yeah, comics talk because the first movie felt like more of a build-up towards Norman. Yeah, exactly. Chameleon could work as secondary villain if he knows Peter's identity. That's a good point. Plus too much plot. Sup, bros? Hi, Violet. How we doing? Tom plays more of a kid-orientated Spider-Man than the other two. That view on Spider-Man is less interesting for me. That's fair enough. What would have happened if Marvel owns 100 rights to Spider-Man? Well, we would have gotten more things, I guess. TOBEY for Miles' introduction. That could be cool. I got the Deadpool Wolverine popcorn bucket. Oh, have you? Right. Is it good? I've seen pictures of it. Is it cool? It looks really cool. Lewis Iguana and Ultimate Green Goblin are better replacements for Rhino and Sin Eater, and Tombstone are good replacements for Kraven. Yeah, I guess so. That could be work if we're talking MCU. Miles is not just a Black Peter. He's an amazing character that's his own Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. And that's actually what his movies are about, ironically. Like, him being his own Spider-Man. Lizard needs a new look. They've turned Miles into a vampire. Sting vampire after events over for a while. Have they? I haven't read Bloodhunt. So, if that's the case, I mean, the whole writer team for Spider-Man, everything Spider-Man at the moment is not great. Yeah, it looks great, says Cosmic Bazooka. Right, okay. So, Far From Home, low box office. We've covered that. Now let's get on to the juicy stuff from Venom: The Last Dance. And I'm glad I have you guys here. First of all, I haven't done a poll in a 10 minutes. Oh my god. Right, I'm doing a poll. That one noob high. So if you just joined the stream, just let you know we talked about TASM 3 and Spider-Man 4 at the start of the stream, as you can see on the news segment on the left-hand side of your screen. We're now onto the bottom topic, which is the Venom Last Dance details. Are you excited for Venom 3? And if you say yes, let me know why in the chat. And if you say no, also let me know why. I want to know what you guys are thinking and why you selected yes or no. So, let's get into this. I'm sorry, I've got allergies. Hay fever, it's not great. So let's get into this. So this comes in from 3C Films on YouTube. Sorry, he's got a really confusing name. I'm just dyslexic though, so I mean, don't listen to me. This is in from him, so credit to him. And this is what he said. So I'm just going to read in order from a Twitter account, Spider-Man News, who's kind of basically generalized what he said, and I'm going to read it back to you. So here it is. So this is what the movie's going to be about. So, Venom/Eddie will learn through the multiverse hive mind that Spider-Man is destined to kill them. Right? I think we already knew this was sort of going to happen based on the ending of Let There Be Carnage. They go looking for Spider-Man to kill him in the Sonyverse. But it turns out Peter Parker is a 10-year-old boy. Right. Okay. Okay, it's getting a bit mad. Right? On the other side of things, Toxin has merged with Detective Patrick Mulligan. Toxic/Mulligan now vow to kill all monsters, including Venom and Peter. So now, I reckon this is where Venom now has to protect Peter. So Venom goes out to kill Peter, but then Venom will end up protecting Peter, I imagine. Toxin spawns a new group of symbiotes, and the new group of symbiotes threaten to destroy San Francisco. So it's going to be like Symbiote City, basically, right? And this is where it gets interesting, because not only do they have a new group of symbiotes, the new group, another group in a little B plot for the film will be called the Jury, and they will want to kill every symbiote in existence. And this group is led by Orwell Taylor, whose son was killed by Carnage in Let There Be Carnage. So this is very interesting. It sounds pretty good, but also it kind of sounds a little bit like it could go really bad. It's interesting, but it looks like it could go really bad. Spider-Man 4 should not have watching Born Again mandatory. This will go against the movie, as a number of people who watch Disney Plus shows are just 1% of the movie going audience. Yeah, that's true. I think Null should be in Venom 3. It's Venom, of course, I'm hyped. And because this trilogy will be important to the MCU. Also, I think Sony made a mistake re-releasing Spider-Man films, mainly Tom's home trilogy. Hopefully Sony won't mess up. Null is an elder god being. He should be in the MCU. Sonyverse ain't fantastical enough for Null. People on Twitter are saying Tom movies are bad and Tobey and Andrews are better. Yeah, they are, for no apparent reason other than Tom's are performing badly, but they're bound to, right? Every single one that comes out is bound to perform lower than the last, apart from No Way Home. No Way Home will do better than, I'd probably say it'll probably be over TASM 2, because it's No Way Home, right? I'm excited, but Sony is like an abusive relationship. They keep hurting me, but I keep coming back. God damn, that's deep. So, yeah. I can't believe this Peter Parker is a prepubescent kid. I remember it said the video Peter Parker's broken because Andrew Garfield should be... Well, yeah, he will be a 10-year-old kid in Venom 3. We actually heard this from, I don't know if it was Alex Perez or someone, but 24 Bricks, hello, you have made it, but Alex Perez was it Alex Perez? Someone revealed quite a while ago that that basically Venom was planned to be sort of a loose sequel to Madam Web, when Madam Web was a part of the Sonyverse. It obviously isn't anymore. And Venom was going to, after Peter Parker was born and Madam Web, fought off Ezekiel Sims, Peter Parker was going to grow up, and Madam Web and Venom was going to take care of him, because hence the plot, right? So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It seems like this 10-year-old Peter thing could be true. It really, really could be true. I just came back in. Toby and Andrew are to be brought back. Well, yes, we mentioned at the start of the stream. Coming in from Daniel RPK, Sony wants to bring Andrew and Toby back to the Sonyverse, which could give us more hope for Spider-Man 4 and The Amazing Spider-Man 3, which is very, very interesting. To be honest, I don't think Spectacular Spider-Man will have a role in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Tom's movies require watching previous MCU movies. Revenant's Puncher. The Venom movies are just okay. They're kind of goofy, but it's the inspiration from the 90s comics. Tom Hardy is way better Venom than Topher Grace, says Comic Stock. So this is one thing I want to say about the Venom movies, right? One thing that separates the Venom movies from the rest of the Sonyverse is how good the Venom character is, and how good Tom Hardy is in the role. If it wasn't for how goofy he was and how well of a character, how likable a character he is, I don't think they'd be very good. And I don't think he would have gotten 2 more movies. But they struck gold with Tom Hardy as Venom. They really did. They struck gold. And that is the absolute epitome of... That's the only thing carrying those movies. The plot, no. Nothing. The writing, no. It's Venom. It's Venom and Tom Hardy themselves. What if Peter didn't take pictures of Spider-Man stealing the alien form and called the cops in Spectacular Spider-Man? That is a very, very big what if. And I reckon things could have happened a lot differently. The plot could be really good or really bad if executed poorly. This is what I'm saying, Phoenix. This is what I'm saying. If this turns out to be good, this could be one of the best superhero movies we get in the next, 5 years or so. This could genuinely be really good. And I'm not... I ain't tripping, by the way. I'm being deadly serious. This Sony movie could be genuinely really good. But obviously, we know, speaking from experience, it might not be. In fact, it's very likely to not be. If they screw this up, it's done out. It's done out. Speaking of No Way Home, do you think Deadpool and Wolverine is the No Way Home for the X-Men? Kinda. Infinity Saga was like a TV show, so Tom's movies are like episodes. They need to get rid of the... So yeah, Revenant's Puncher on about the connection to the MCU. Very true, very true. Hashtag I blame Aviarat, says Kyle. It's only because it came out recently and needs to be older, like 10 to 15 years, and people would enjoy it more. Cosmic Bazooka, you got a very good point there. I reckon in 10 to 15 years, I reckon Tom's movies are going to be very, very loved. I think they will. Tom Hardy is the main reason I watch the movies. Exactly. It's what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. So yeah, that was basically all the details we have got today. Obviously, not as much news. We do have actually something from the X-Men 97 director regarding him using Peter and MJ. Basically said, yeah, we asked Sony. They said it was cool. That was about it. People think Toby and Deadpool rumors. Yeah, Toby apparently is meant to be in Deadpool. Deadpool 3. From the writer of 50 Shades of Grey in her directorial debut. Yeah, what's her name? Oh, no, what is her name? What is her name? Leonardo, you have really stumped me. What's her name? Oh, I know her name. Kelly Marcel. Is it Kelly Marcel? Kelly Marcel? I don't know. Kelly Marcel. Yes, it's Kelly Marcel. Okay. Leonardo's confirmed it for me. Yes, it's Kelly Marcel. Yes, so, speaking of X-Men 97, by the way, Cosmic Bazooka says, Lewis, since X-Men 97 is a masterpiece and run by a different brand of Marvel, will you think Spider-Man 98 will be a masterpiece too? I don't think it's going to get made. I really don't. However, if it is made... yes, it will be a masterpiece. If it's made by the same people. Speaking of Spider-Man 98, though, in 15 minutes' time, on Lewis Fiction, as you can see in the top right-hand corner of your screen, subscribe to Lewis Fiction, I will be posting my pitch for Spider-Man 98. And it is coming out in 15 minutes. And also, we've got memberships available now on LewisFiction as well. So just like we have on this channel, where if you're a member of the channel and you want to support the channel, you can get early access to videos and all that good stuff, membership badges and community posts and priority replies to comments and you know, just generally being a part of the community. We got the same over there on LewisFiction. Get fan fictions early and all that. So we got that on LewisFiction. Go check it out. Yeah, but that's coming out in 15 minutes as well, so that's going to be cool. Lewis, how about Devil's Reign plus Goblin Nation? That would be really, really cool, by the way. Ramdos Puncher makes a very good point. That would be very cool. I found out Miles' connection to the Green Goblin for Marvel Spider-Man 3. Turns out Norman was working on the spider that bites Miles. I imagine that's going to be... I have a mad theory, by the way. By the way, I've got a massive theory. Well, it's not a massive theory. It's probably going to be true. But... for Cindy Moon in Marvel Spider-Man 3, what they're probably going to do is, you know how in the comics she gets bitten by the same spider that bites Peter, right? Well, it looks like she's going to be intrinsically tied to Miles, mostly. So I imagine she is going to somehow have been bitten by the same spider that bites Miles. Now, obviously, the spider that bit Miles died pretty much instantly, right? But I reckon there's going to be some kind of twist, and I reckon it's going to be that same spider. I'm just saying. I think that I'm predicting it now. It's not a bold theory. It's quite an obvious one. But I'm guaranteed that's how they're going to do it. Bring back the original VA writers and music only matters. Lewis, I wonder if Spider-Man... Noir? Noir. Oh, Noir. Oh, okay. Noir will cross over with Venom or Deadpool. Not Deadpool. Maybe Venom. Depends if it's in the Sonyverse. Marvel has the animated TV rights to Spider-Man, so it could happen. Depends on Marvel. I don't think it'll happen, though. I really don't. I think since they used MJ in Marvel, in X-Men 97, and kind of showed the resolution to that story, I don't think there's any point of them doing it. And I think they know that as well. So, hey, everybody, can I come this way, or do I have to break my own window? I like that. Super Warrior 64. But yeah, so obviously in 10 minutes time, LewisFiction, Spider-Man 98 will be releasing my pitch. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for this week's stream. Obviously, we're streaming every Thursday now. Yeah, good point, says Cosmic Blues. Yeah, I just feel like they've shown the resolution with MJ in X-Men 97. It's been confirmed as well that takes place after season 5. So Peter's found MJ. So I feel like I think if they knew how successful X-Men 97 was going to be, they wouldn't have made freshman year, and they would have greenlit a Spider-Man 98 revival. And I reckon that's how it would have gone. But I reckon since they're doing freshman year, I think they're not going to do Spider-Man 98. And I reckon that's why they showed it, because they were like, well, we've got our Spider-Man show that we're doing, so we won't do Spider-Man 98. We'll do freshman year, and we'll just show the resolution because fans will appreciate it, right? They'll want to know what happened with Peter and MJ. But now people are like, give us Spider-Man 98. And they're like, damn it. We should have done Spider-Man 98. We should have done it. Why do people complain about Miles not having his own villains when Wally West, when he becomes the Flash, stole all of Barry's villains? I think that's maybe a problem for both of them, maybe. Who's the perfect actor to play Uncle Ben? Tom Hanks, Matthew Broderick, Dan Aykroyd, Steve Carell, Hugh Laurie, Robert De Niro. I mean, Robert De Niro is Uncle Ben, imagine. Jason Isaacs, John Malkovich. John Malkovich! Goddamn. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman would go pretty hard. I ain't gonna lie. What do you think of Spider-Man and Transformers crossover? Could it work? Possibly. Spider-Man's dealt with weirder things. I'm going to watch Spider-Man 94 along with the other 90 shows at some point. They are very good. I recommend Spider-Man, the animated series. It's very good. Well, he did have Hunter Zolomon in the comics. If Mark Webb doesn't come back for the Amazing Spider-Man 3, do you think Phil Lord and Chris Miller should helmet? Because I think they can save it from Avi Arad. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I'd like to see them do it. Which director would you choose for Spider-Man 4 to 6? Very good question. Probably... in all honesty, Drew Goddard. Honestly, Drew Goddard. I actually would. Right, hear me out here. Drew Goddard or John Watts? John Watts because he's proven he can handle Sony and Marvel in both ears. And he's proven he can make good Spider-Man movies in the MCU. He understands the character. But obviously, I'd prefer a different direction. So probably Drew Goddard. But it'd be between Drew Goddard and John Watts, probably. So yeah, Yuri Lowenthal for Uncle Ben in the MCU. Do you think Peter retiring with his love interest and passing the mantle to Miles as Spider-Man in the MCU Spider-Man 6 is a perfect ending? I'm not sure. It depends what they do. John Malkovich is in MCU's Fantastic Four. Who do you think he's playing? I have no idea. Oh, no, there was a theory. I saw it somewhere. I forgot which character it was. Would you recommend Marvel Spider-Man 2017 since you're one of those people who actually likes the show? Do I like the show? Have I ever said I like the show? I probably did somewhere. Yeah, no, okay, so my opinion on the show is I like the show as a stepping on point for Spider-Man. Like, if you're new to Spider-Man, or let's just say you're a kid. Let's say you're a kid. Let's say you're just becoming a teenager or whatever. You know, you're 12, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're an adult and you need to step onto Spider-Man somewhere. I think it's a good way to step on. If you go straight to the comics, it's too complicated. If you go to the movies, like the MCU movies, it could be overbearing. Spectacular Spider-Man is very intricate and it is simple, but you've really got to appreciate the characters beforehand to sort of appreciate how good Spectacular Spider-Man is. So Marvel Spider-Man works as a very good jumping on point. I wouldn't recommend Ultimate Spider-Man because Ultimate Spider-Man depicts that Spider-Man is always with the Avengers and other Marvel heroes, but that's just not true. But Marvel Spider-Man at least does. It has pretty much every character. Like, it has Mary Jane, it has Venom, and yeah, it has Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen, and it has Miles Morales as Spider-Man, it has Anya Corazon as Spider-Girl as well. But I think that's good because then you kind of understand all the characters. It's not just a show about Spider-Man, it's about all the Spider people. And then you can go off and read Spider-Gwen comic books because you understand who she is. You can go off and read more intricate Spider-Man stories. You can go off and watch the MCU movies and understand that Peter Parker is this in this universe and this isn't the default way for the character. And then you can go and watch the Tobey Maguire movies, Andrew Garfield movies, and then read the comic books and realize how different things are. But also, you understand the character now. I think it's a good jumping on point for Spider-Man fans or fans that want to be Spider-Man fans. But no, I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's a good show. I think if you're a Spider-Man fan, it's definitely very weak. Like, it's not worth watching it. I watched it only because there was nothing else to watch. I watched the show genuinely because I'd outsourced every Spider-Man thing ever. And I was just like, I need something new. Marvel Spider-Man. That was about it. So yeah. Where are we at? I think Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon was really bad. There was a hoax saying that Godzilla X Kong director Adam Wingard was to direct Spider-Man 4. I don't think that'll happen. I hope Tom Rothman doesn't ruin Beyond the Spider-Verse since he's working on Venom 3 as well. I don't think he will. I think he trusts Phil Lord and Chris Miller. They should. I mean, Tom Rothman does need to go, to be fair. Tom Rothman out. Did you know Tobe Hooper, director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was going to direct a Spider-Man movie, but he didn't know who Spider-Man was, so he thought he was an actual spider monster. Well, thank God he never directed that movie. Have you ever seen the Edge of Spider-Verse comics? I have read them. Fortnite Spider-Man is the best one, says Ironbot. I know you said you don't recommend it, but I'm going to watch Ultimate Spider-Man, my childhood Spidey show. Anyways, not sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good kids show, right? I think that's what it's good for. Marvel Spider-Man, I think, is better than Ultimate Spider-Man. Because I think... No, Ultimate Spider-Man in its... Okay, let me clear this up. Ultimate Spider-Man in its later seasons is very good. I think it's actually... I think Ultimate Spider-Man in its later seasons is one of the best Spider-Man shows we've ever gotten. And I'm not joking. The first 2 seasons can just go home, right? Get in the bin. And also, I think when it overbears on the other characters in the Marvel Universe, I think it puts this facade out there that it's just not a Spider-Man show. It's Spidey and his friends. It's the Avengers, right? It's not... But the later seasons with Web Warriors and the Spider-Verse stuff, and that's all really good, right? But Marvel Spider-Man, I think, overall, is a better show, really. I wonder if Spider-Man 2099 will get his own show in the future after freshman year. That'd be cool. I think Ultimate Spider-Man has better writing than Marvel Spider-Man 2017. Yeah, maybe ever so slightly. I think Ultimate Spider-Man is his own type of thing, though, isn't it? It has its own... It's got its own fourth wall breaks and everything, and it's I don't know. I haven't seen them both in a long time, so I can't. I could be wrong. I might have a different opinion now, but I remember the first 2 seasons of Ultimate Spider-Man just being absolute trash, and then the last 2 were pretty good. The last 2 were very good. The MCU movies making less than the box office is expected. Those movies are way too recent, and it's not even considered nostalgic. Exactly, Robin. Thank you. What everyone needs to understand. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there for this week. Next week, obviously, we're streaming every Thursday now. It was Tuesday, but it's every Thursday. We're streaming next Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time. Make sure you're there. Make sure to check out Spider-Man 98 on my channel, LewisFiction. Go check it out now. It's coming out in 4 minutes, so make sure to go over there and watch it. My pitch. If you love the channel, if you love my content, I would really appreciate it if maybe, I don't know, if you've got a spare $1 or $2, you know, support the channel. Maybe by becoming a member, you get exclusive early access to new videos. The upper tier gets you exclusive videos themselves. And you know, we're trying to do this YouTube thing full time. So support for the channel, it's all greatly appreciated. I want to thank all the members that are in here today as well. Cosmic Bazooka, Ramdas Puncher, and I saw 24 Bricks a bit earlier as well. I do appreciate all you guys, but I just appreciate you guys anyway. You guys are all awesome. You guys are all supporting the channel by just being here anyway. You guys are awesome, right? And I will see you guys in the next stream. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Take care.